So we are live. Hi, everyone. Hi, G.
Hi, Katie. Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Katie. I am founder of Flexible Working People. I'm sure lots of you already know me, but for those of you who don't, I set up this group now 5 years ago, and we're on a mission to help people find kind of their flexible groove and help them to find flex in their careers. As part of this mission, we're really keen to partner with people who offer ways for people to work flexibly, whether that's running your own business, retraining, or paid employment. And we have been partners, I think, with St James's Place now for 3 years, coming up for 3 years or 3 years. St James's Place is the largest provider of face-to-face financial advice in the UK. I came across them a number of years ago, as I've said, because a friend of mine was actually doing a part of the academy, and they were training to become a financial advisor. And I was like, wow, this sounds amazing. I really want to get this out and front and center in our community. And actually, over the past few years, we've had a number of Flexible Working People community join the academy and go through the training, come out the other side. So that's amazing. So we've seen the journey end to end, haven't we? So I know G well. G's a member of our Flexible Working People Facebook group community, and we've been working together for ages. And I'm so happy to have you here. She's part of the St James's Place Financial Academy. And today we're going to talk about what it means, what it is, what it means, who it's for, and kind of just get under the hood a bit, aren't we, G? So
absolutely.
Let you introduce yourself and what you do, and maybe give us a bit of background to the academy, to the and to the training. Let's start there. So just give us a bit of background and an overview of the Financial Academy.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. First of all, my name is G Footit. I work at St James's Place within the academy, and I've been here for coming up for 5 years in September this year, and done a number of different roles since I've been here. But the thing I'm most passionate about is what we're doing right now, Katie. It's encouraging more women to join the profession. I know you have men in your group as well, but predominantly women here. And I know that women make such brilliant financial advisors, and there aren't enough of us in the profession. So this sort of event it lights me up, because if we can attract some more fantastic women to join the profession, I'll be delighted. So let me give you a bit of a background about the company and the programme, just as a flavour. So St James's Place is a FTSE 100 company. It's not one of the most well-known ones in terms of its name and brand and awareness because of the business model. So the business model is St James's Place sit behind the scenes, if you like. We are a FTSE 100 company. We've got over 2,000 employees, so we have the scale. But actually, the advice is given through what we describe as our partnership. And if you think about that in simple terms, it's our distribution channel. So the partnership is made up of 2,500 individual financial advice businesses, and they're run by individuals, but they've partnered with St James's Place to take care of certain aspects of running their business. And financial advice is a highly regulated environment, so SJP take care of worrying about regulation, what do they need to be updated with, compliance and things like that. But we also provide a wealth of things for our partners, such as systems, offices to work from, IT systems and product range, etc. So there's a ton of things that we do, including marketing, client acquisition. So there's tons of things that SJP do for the partnership. And so the Financial Advisor Academy was born 10 years ago. So we've been running it for 10 years to attract new people to the profession, because the profession itself has quite an aging population of financial advisors. So lots of the existing financial advisor population are approaching retirement in the next 5, 10, 15 years. Yeah. We want to attract more people in because clients don't go anywhere. There's intergenerational advice. So if you were a client, Katie, and I was your financial advisor, it's likely that I might look after your parents. And as your children we might be looking after your children now through schooling. And then as they get to their own working age, we would like the relationship to continue. So we need young people to come and join the profession to take on those families from existing advisors. So the Advisor Academy has been running, as I say, for 10 years. It's fully funded. I know we're going to cover that in a bit more detail a bit later on. So there's nothing for you to pay to come and do the programme. And ultimately, it's get the qualifications, it's get the skills, but more importantly, it's get the support from before you join us. So I'll talk about the level of support you get before you even join us, all the way through the programme, but the support never stops at SJP. So no matter where you are in your career, you'll always have a development manager working alongside your business and making sure that you have everything that you need to run it successfully.
Amazing. So that was a great intro, and you've touched on so many different areas that we're going to get a bit deeper in as we go through this. So I'd say might be good to just touch on next kind of who this opportunity might be right for. So if you're thinking about career change, why, you know, and you're not really sure what to do, why would St James's Place be a good option?
Great question. So we wouldn't be here if we knew that this wasn't a great opportunity for the people that are within your community. And as you said, we've got a couple of people that have already joined us. They're thriving within our academy and our partnership, which is great news. So anyone can become a financial advisor, but the key attributes or traits that we look for, we know that make people successful, are quite simple. And actually, they're transferable from many different professions. So there might be some people watching thinking, oh, I don't have a financial background. That really doesn't matter. 60% of the people that join the programme come from non-financial services backgrounds. And if you were to throw a profession at me, Casey, I'm sure we would have somebody from that profession within the programme at some stage. We've got over 1,000 people that we've trained now through the programme over the last 10 years. So the traits we're looking for are that are transferable from many things. We've got an acronym, it's PRIDE. So we'll start with the P, personal impact. Do you hold a room, or do people come to you for advice on something or another? Like, you know, if you have personal impact or not. The next thing is resilience. And actually that one's really important, because becoming a successful financial advisor isn't an overnight success story. It takes grit and determination. So resilience is really important to you. I is for integrity. Now, thinking of being a financial advisor, you're dealing with humans, you're dealing with their very personal and financial information, and sometimes some people are in vulnerable situations. And integrity, we're very highly regulated, as I already said, has to be at the forefront of everything that we do. D is for drive and determination. And as I said before, you need resilience, but you need the drive and the determination, and be really connected to why. Why are you doing this? So that you do last the distance. But you can have, I think, really big goals in your mind coming into this, because there's no cap on what you can achieve within the financial advice sector. So I explained the partnership very, very quickly before. It's made up of 2,500 individual businesses. They all started as one person starting a business on their own. But within that community, we've got businesses of every size and scale. So there are businesses with 2 advisors in, with 5, with 10. We've got some practices with 50 plus advisors in. Yeah. So there really is no limit to what you can achieve here. And then the final letter is E for empathy, or I like to also include emotional intelligence within that as well. So being able to sit down in front of a person, really understand the world through their eyes, what things are important to them and their family, so that you can provide them with really great advice. And if you listen to that list of skills, I'm sure there are many people sitting there nodding their head going, yep, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. And it doesn't matter if you come from a farming background, or you've had a career break, or trying to think of some of the professions. Professional sports people join us, people from
can you give us some examples of the types of people in the industries they've come from, so that people can understand?
Yeah, events planning, we've had car sales people, like you name it. There have been people from any and every background. So really don't feel, if you haven't got any financial services experience, don't be put off. Come and have a conversation.
Well, that's what I love. I love the fact that it is open to anybody. And you've already said that you've got a really large percentage of people who have come in with no financial services background. So yeah. It's just such an amazing opportunity for people to consider. And I just wanted you to explain to people, because it is a selection process. You can't just join. So do you just want to talk us through what that looks like? Because obviously people have got to determine whether it's right for them, but also you need to determine whether these people are going to be, right for the academy. And that's a two-way process. So it might just be good for you to explain what that looks like.
Absolutely. So initially, it's really, we like to call it very human experience. It's very conversational, and it doesn't move into any formal interview until right at the very end, where we will have held your hand through doing some homework and doing a lot of thinking and really preparing for that final, much more formal phase. So we have a team of recruitment managers across the country. So no matter where you are, there'll be somebody close to you. So those initial meetings can be virtual. They can be coffee meetings if somebody's close by. Whatever you feel comfortable and want to do is the way we would go. But initially it would be, let's have a conversation. Let's find a little bit about you. Obviously, our people are there to answer any questions that you have and make sure that you walk away with all the information you need to go and start making some choices and decisions, having conversations with people at home. As you move sort of into the more formal part of, if everything you're listening to is sounding good, you're nodding your head a lot, you're feeling excited about it. Well, then, as I say, I said some homework. Now that sounds maybe a bit strange in an interview process to do some homework, but it's really just thinking about starting a business. And I know, Katie, you're a very astute businesswoman, and there are lots of things you need to think about before you start a business. So what we do is help people to think about those things before they even join, so that nothing's a surprise when they join. Now, I've said starting a business, there also is the opportunity to join one of our existing practices. So this isn't just for business owners. As I said, we've got those 2,500 practices that sit within the partnership. Many of them are growing and they're looking for additional advisors to come and work within their businesses. So if you feel like starting a business is a step too far to do, as well as a career change, then you can maybe do a stepping stone into a practice before you have your own business, or just come and get a role within a practice and be very happy there and potentially take over that practice as the existing partner retires in 10, 20 years time.
Another reason why I literally love St James's Place, because it's not just about setting up your own business, which can be really daunting. And I know you hold their hand all the way, but it's just about having that choice of whether you become an associate in an existing practice or you set up on your own and so on. Yeah. So there's definitely something for everybody once you've retrained, which is amazing. So let's just talk about the training itself, because we've talked to a lot now about kind of who it's for and so on, but like, what does it involve? How long does it take?
Great questions. And it's been a while since I've been in here to do a Facebook Live. So we've made some great changes and updates, and it's far more flexible. Flexible is the key word in this group. So it's far more flexible than it's ever been before. And we can thank COVID for something, because I think it's made the whole world more flexible, which is good. So our program now has 2 entry points. So we have an entry point for people who need to get qualified. So in order to be a financial advisor in the UK, the minimum qualification is a level 4 diploma in regulated financial advice or financial planning. And there are a couple of different exam bodies that you can achieve that through, 2 or 3. We've partnered with the Chartered Insurance Institute as our examining body. And when you go down that route to get the diploma, there are 6 different exams or 6 different modules. So you need to pass all 6 to then become a fully qualified financial advisor. So our academy program has an entry point where people need to get the exam. So they join us and they study with us. And that study period, we call it term 1, is for 3 months. Now, I do need to just note that the exams, as I say, there are 6 exams in total. One of the prerequisites we have before people join, because it is a fully funded, there's no sort of outlay to St James's Place for the training. Part of that kind of commitment is, can you get a couple of these exams yourself before you join? So that's a litmus test of can you study? Are you able to get through the exams? Are you willing to put yourself through that in order to get on the program? So it's a bit of a 2-way, bit of give and take at the beginning. But if you need help and support with any study materials and things, of course, we're here to help with that. They are self-funded, those 2 exams, but as I said, no payment goes to SJP for that. That will go straight to the CII. But if you do end up joining the program, we will refund that to you when you join. So during term 1, when you're studying the rest of the exams, it's pretty much an exam a month. And you'll have access to our online portal. That first 3 months, as I say, is very flexible. So you'll get your whole timetable laid out ahead of you. So you'll understand when you need to be available for a live session. And you all get development managers, and they will be local to you. So as well as your exam support, you could also be meeting up with somebody locally to have a conversation if you needed help with something in particular. But the majority of the training is virtual in that first 3 months. Once you finish the first 3 months, you then move to term 2, which is the skills. Now, the reason why we've got 2 entry points is there might be some people in your group who already have the level 4 qualification, and they're just not using it to give financial advice. So joining at term 2 is for people that are already qualified, but they've never given advice before. So I would personally fall into that category. I have a level 4 qualification, but I've never personally given advice. So I would start at term 2. So this is now, well, I've got the textbook knowledge, but I certainly couldn't sit down as your financial advisor tomorrow, Katie, because I've not been trained to do it. I've got the knowledge, but I don't really know how to do it. So this is all about turning that textbook knowledge into the skills that you need and making sure that you're keeping yourself and your clients safe in terms of the compliance, and just deepening your knowledge. So term 2 has some in-person elements and some virtual elements, and a lot of on-demand as well. So if you think about Netflix style of learning, there are modules that you can watch in your own time, and some of them, as I say, will be live, but you'll get the whole 6 months ahead of time if you're starting at term 1, knowing where and when you'll need to be. So if you do need to get some childcare cover for the in-person training in term 2, then you've got plenty of time to plan for that.
So how long is term 2? Is that also 3 months?
Another 3 months. So if you're starting at term 1, the training period before you get out there in front of clients is 6 months. If you're already qualified, it's just 3 months.
Got it. Okay, so I'm just trying to get my head around this and the questions that people will want to ask, which are, can I run this alongside an existing job and train, or do I need to commit myself totally to the training? Like, how much time will it take?
Yeah, really good question. So it is a full-time commitment. I would say come and have a conversation with us, because what will help you understand is the commitment, the financials and things like that. So you can make a decision on, well, can I commit to this straight away from term 1? Or the alternative opportunity or option might be for somebody to self-study the exams while they're still working. And then when the time is right for them, they can join at term 2, which would just reduce down that sort of training period, if that makes sense.
With the term 1, you think that they could manage a job and do or just for the first 2 exams?
They can't do term 1 and have a job with us. They would just have to self-study the exams and have their job. So if you want to study with us, yeah, if you want to study with us, that's a full-time commitment. It is a full-time schedule.
Okay, that's good to know. And what do you mean? Someone else has asked this, but what do you mean by fully supported and funded? What does that look like?
Yeah, great question. And I knew we'd get to this. So in term 1, if you are starting your own business, we fund £1,000 per month while you're studying, getting through the exams. If you then move to term 2, or when you move to term 2, the financial support is increased to £2,000 per month for the next 3 months.
£2,000 a month?
£2,000 for the next 3 months.
Yeah.
So that is funding from SJP. That's non-refundable. That's to keep you afloat, if you like, while you're studying. As you move into term 3, you do start to give advice under supervision in term 3. So the opportunity to start earning money starts after 6 months. However, in reality, we know that you've got to go through the client meeting process, which is typically a 3-meeting process before somebody would say, the check comes in, the money's invested, etc. So it might take you another month to 2 months to start seeing revenue coming through the door. And so we therefore provide all of the people starting a business with a working capital allowance. Now that is, if you like, a business loan, but it's available for people to have cash flow while they're building that momentum in the business.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, go on.
No, I was going to say, so people can start earning at the 6-month point.
Yes, yeah. So they start being client facing. So how quickly you get up and running and in front of people is down to the individual. So some people start earning revenue quicker than others. But again, this is what the pre-work is all about. When we're talking to you before you get to that, as I say, more formal interview stage, there's a lot of pre-work to think about cash flow. Do you have the financial means to cushion yourself over a period where you're building momentum? And we wouldn't let anybody take the plunge without feeling really comfortable about that. So that's really important.
Absolutely. And I think one of the other questions that's come up before, and I know is something on people's minds, is, if you do set up on your own, what does finding clients look like? How do you think about marketing yourself? Do you have to have a big network? Like, what does that look like?
Again, that pre-work, it all happens before you even join us. So if you were going to start a business, I've started my own business in the past, and it was a juice cleanse business. So you have to think about, who are your clients going to be? Who do you know? Who can you help? Who might want help with this? And financial advice is no different. So part of that initial conversation with us would be a network analysis. So who do you know? What stage of life are you in? What do you know about your finances? And actually, I just read an interesting article recently, which said that only 11% of the UK population are paying financial advisors for advice. So there's such a huge opportunity of people that need help with this. So even if you think, I think everybody I know has a financial advisor, they probably don't. Not all of them will. So it's just getting you comfortable with having early conversations with people too. So you might say to a friend during the sort of the early phase of speaking to SJP, I'm thinking of becoming a financial advisor. What do you think about that? And just see what they say, because they might say, I can never see you doing that. Or they might say, oh, that's interesting. Where's this come from? Or whatever. Yeah. And then the conversation can flow a bit further. And you can say, well, do you have a financial advisor? You'll get a quick yes or no from them. If they have, oh, well, what's that experience been like? I'm really interested to find out a bit more. What are they really good at? What aren't they so good at? So you're just gathering information. And I think by doing that in the early stages, you feel confident around, do I have the means, i.e. the network, to start a business? And some people might be on the call thinking, I don't have a network, or that they think they don't at this stage, but we can help them uncover things that they hadn't thought of. And if you do feel worried about generating clients yourself, there is an option to join an existing practice. So those early conversations help you decide and us decide which of those two routes is best for you. And often when you join an existing practice, they may have some clients that they can allocate to you. But what I will say is there's always going to be a reliant on you to generate some clients yourself as well. So
I was going to ask you that. So my next question was around the different options. So you can set up on your own, or you can join an existing practice. And I was just going to ask you what that looked like. So if you join one, do they give you clients, or are you still on your own, or is it a mix of both?
It's a mix of both. So depending on the practice you're joining, it depends on their personal circumstances. Do they have surplus clients that they need help looking after? But they might have marketing strategies already in place where they're self-generating new clients. And we can teach you how to do all of that stuff as well in the Academy if you are starting your own business. So yeah, it's generally a mix. It'll be a mix of, there might be some clients for you to look after, but I think 99% of the time you will be required to find some clients yourself as well. But joining a practice might just give you that stepping stone to getting really confident in front of clients with some of their clients before you're then approaching your network. And that can feel much more comfortable as well for some people.
Yeah. Okay, amazing. So we're covering loads here. And I think one of the big questions always is, what does this look like financially? So once I've been through the training, what's my earning potential? How quickly can I start? So we've said that you'll start potentially earning money from 6 months, but what does that look like? What does that trajectory look like? And kind of what is your earning potential as a financial advisor?
Yeah, it's difficult to quantify because everybody's journey is different, but I'll do my best. So you say start earning money from 6 months. I'll caveat that because you'll start seeing clients face to face at the beginning of the 6 months. So when will your first client revenue fee come through the door? It might not be until month 7 or 8. So planning ahead and understanding that there might be a requirement to dip into savings, or if there's another income coming into the household that covers all the essential outgoings, then you're in a much stronger position. So I would say in the first year, from that 6 month point when you start advising to 12 months ahead, so 18 months since you start, if you like, because you've got the 6 months training, I would say a typical revenue would be around 25 to 40,000. Now that doesn't sound that much, but what's really interesting in financial advice is with every client that you onboard, any initial business that you write, you're paid for the initial advice that you give, but the relationship doesn't end there, it's ongoing. So with every client that you onboard, they remain your client, we hope, for your lifetime and their lifetime. So the next year, any business that you've written this year will pay you a revenue, and then you've got new clients coming in the next year. So each year it grows. So very quickly, from nowhere, you have a business with an ongoing renewal income, plus then any new business that you write as well. And that's how you actually build value in your business too. So imagine being a financial advisor for 30 years or 20 years, however long you've got left to work. You've been seeing lots of clients, you've got however many millions under management, and you've got families that you're looking after. That becomes a saleable asset, if you like. And actually, SJP has a community of advisors coming through the academy who want to build their businesses and the option to buy retiring partners' businesses. So it's a funny thing to think about, but SJP has already thought about your exit strategy before you've even started. And that can still happen even within a practice. So I might join your practice, Katie, and I have my own client, but within it, that kind of transaction can still happen within a practice.
Okay, got it. Okay, so just explain again in terms of
earnings potential.
No, just on the earnings potential. Do you get paid for seeing somebody as a financial advisor, or just on the products that you sell?
So the way the model works with financial advice, it's not like an accountant or a solicitor where you get sort of billed by the second.
Yeah.
There's actually a lot of value that financial advisors give to people for free up front, and they only get paid if the client takes the advice. So yeah, it's an interesting one. So if I were to sit down with you, Katie, we had an initial fact find, we understood what your personal circumstances were, I would go away, come back with a report to suggest, my recommendations to you.
Yeah.
We'd meet again, you'd understand all of that, you'd ask me any questions, then you'd have some time to go and think about it. And then it would be the third meeting when we're saying, yes, okay, we're signing the form, we're going to write some business. But typically, because you're building that value, you're building that trust with the client, it works. Otherwise, SJP wouldn't exist.
No, it's great. I just wanted clarification so that people understand how it works. And also just in terms of like start dates, because in the old days, we'd have like fixed locations and start dates, and now it's more virtual. Are they rolling start dates? Like, what does that look like? So if somebody is there like a cohort that starts every month? How does that look?
Exactly that, Katie. So we're really fortunate that we have cohorts starting every month, whether you're starting at term 1 or term 2. So they are rolling throughout the year. So that means you can time it with what's important in your family. So we have flexible working. I'm assuming people need to be flexible around something or another. It may be children, it may not be. But if it is children, you might want to start in September, for example, because the school holidays are out the way. So I think that's really helpful for your audience.
Brilliant. And on that flexibility, I think one of the questions I saw coming up, because there's been a lot of questions, we're going to get to those in a minute. Great. But one of the questions is, once you've got through the 6 months, how flexible is flexible? And I know that it's very flexible. So do you just want to cover that?
Yeah, ultimately, you're in control. So if you're joining a practice, it will be down to the practice as to how often they might want you to be in the office. And you'll know that before you join the practice. If you're having a conversation with a practice and they're wanting you to be in every day and that doesn't suit you in terms of your flexibility, you wouldn't join that practice. So we'd find the right opportunity for you. And you don't need to worry about matchmaking yourself to a practice. We do that. We know which practices are hiring, which area we're in, and we're trying to match personalities as well. So you don't need to worry about that. If you're starting your own business, you're running your own business. So you manage your diary effectively. The only time you would need to be in a certain place at a certain time is when you're seeing a client. And we do this as well with clients. So we would always recommend a first meeting with a client should be face-to-face, but then review meetings can be virtual. So if you need to manage your diary that you need to do the school run and there's no meetings between certain times in your day, you don't book meetings at that time. And it's interesting. We've had lots of women join the program over the years, and there's lots of really interesting stories. So I'll share a couple of videos in the group over the coming weeks, Katie, so people can hear for themselves. But one of the videos that we've shot recently, one of our advisors was saying, I imagine that I had to go to networking events in the evening and I had to be in the city all the time. And then we filmed her in her networking event. And she said, I even do my networking in the school hours. So there's groups of people that do stuff within those hours that work for people that have children in school. And then what you might do is once they've gone to bed, you might do your admin and your follow up in the evening.
So, I mean, I've seen it in real life, and I know because I know that people have come through the program, and lots of them are parents, mums, and you get to run your own business on your own time and build your own flexibility. So it totally works. I think it'd be really useful, and we've talked about this. We've got Rebecca coming in next month, I think, to do a Facebook Live. She is one of your financial advisors, and she's coming in to do a session on kind of wealth management, which I think will be really helpful. Financial education, but I think that what will be really useful and helpful for people, because there's a lot here, is to see and hear from people who have been through it, who are doing it, and hear their journeys and their stories. So I think sharing some videos and bringing Rebecca in and so on, I think that would be really helpful in just bringing it to life a bit more.
Definitely.
So we're running out of time. We've had quite a lot of questions. Just looking through them, we've covered most of them, I think, in the chat. So is the Academy available to complete remotely, and what are the costs involved? So kind of covered that. So yes, mostly remotely. There will be a bit of in-person that people get notification, and they can term 2, and they can plan for that. Costs involved, none. Is it funded? Yes. The first term is £1,000 and the second is £2,000. I'm just going to answer these for you as I whiz through them. Is the Academy purely to become advisors, or can it head towards compliance?
The Academy is just for financial advisors.
Okay. What's financial support in the program? We've covered. What's the commitment once training is completed? sort of covered that too. It's up to you in terms of the commitment.
There isn't any sign on the dotted line. You can't leave for X number of years. So it's again flexible. We hope you'll stay.
There's a question around this, and I was, because this is new to me as well, around this doing the 2 exams yourself bit, which is quite new. So are you already accepted into the academy at that point, and therefore so you're not funding yourself to do exams and then
so I would say come and have a conversation with us. Don't worry about thinking about exams before you've even spoken to us. Please come and have a conversation with us. You could be completely through selection process before you even pick up a book. Some people like to be prepared before that, but it will just depend on when you want to start the program, because you've got to get them done before you start the program. So
you'll be accepted into the academy before you start your training, because people are saying
you can be accepted in before touching an exam. Absolutely. So come and speak to us before thinking about any exams. Absolutely.
Agreed. So I would say we're going to drop some links into the stream. G is on point and she can answer any questions that we haven't covered now. But I would say next steps are to get in touch and just have a preliminary chat if you're interested, to find out a bit more about it and to see if there's...
Absolutely. Yes. So I'll put a link and it will take you to our website, and it's a contact form. But if you wanted to just have a look around the website before you fill in the contact form's just in the right-hand side of the website. But I will put the link directly to it just for speed and access. But go and fill in that form. One of us will give you a call back, and we really look forward to speaking to you.
Brilliant. And for anyone who is not watching this live, or knows someone else who wants to join, this video will be available to watch on replay. That was another question. So if you didn't get to make it and you're watching this on replay, please drop some comments or questions. We'll answer them, and we'll put the link in so that you can set up a discovery call or a meeting with St James's Place, and they can answer all of your questions that you have and work out if there's a synergy. Okay, well, that was brilliant. That was a whistle-stop tour to time. There's so much to take on. It is an incredible opportunity, but there's a lot there that we've been through. So I think that setting up a call and just asking all your own questions would be really helpful if you're interested in this opportunity. As I said, we've got Rebecca coming in next month, and G and I are behind the scenes, and we're going to plan to bring in some case studies and show you and showcase some of the people who've been through the program, because as I said, I think that's really going to help. So this is an amazing opportunity. I love it. I know that people who've been through it and are having careers now as financial advisors, it's changed their life. So I'm a massive supporter, as you know. So thank you, G, so much for coming on today to talk to our community. And if anyone's got any questions, obviously drop them in the stream, and I will see you soon.
Thank you for having me.
Take care. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.